Let's start this off with a 2-for-1. I got Ryan Hesley or Devin Williams. Now, I'm kind of breaking the rules here already because this video is 5 trade targets for the Red Sox, but I think either one of these guys would be a great fit in Boston. Now, taking a look at the back end of the bullpen, you're probably not going to be having Kenley Jansen or Chris Martin back for 2025. As of right now, Liam Hendriks is projected to be the closer, but you got to remember with Liam Hendriks, he hasn't pitched since 2023. I think it would make a lot of sense to get some insurance for the back into this bullpen, and who better than someone like Ryan Hesley or Devin Williams? My goodness, these guys are absolutely fantastic. Ryan Hesley was an absolute beast this year for the Cardinals. The Cardinals are looking to cut some payroll. It is expected that he will be moved this offseason, and my goodness, if they found a way to get him in Boston, I would be doing cartwheels in my front lawn. 65 games this year, ERA at a 2.04, FIP at a 2.41, right around 10.7 strikeouts per nine, 49 saves, led the major leagues. He throws an average of 100 miles per hour. My goodness, he would be an excellent addition for the back end of the bullpen. If you had him and Hendriks at the back, I think that would be great. Now, Devin Williams, I would also not mind him whatsoever. Now, he did miss a lot of time this year with a back injury. Also had the bad outing against the Mets in the wild card round. But other than that, my goodness, he had a very good year, even though it was a small sample size. 22 games, ERA at a 1.25, FIP at a 2.06. Now, he has always struggled with the command. 4.5 walks per nine this year, 4.3 last year, 4.4 in 2022. But the way Devin Williams goes about getting the strikeouts, the stuff is off the charts with him. Has one of the best changeups in all of Major League Baseball. In 22 games this year, he had 14 saves. So this guy, when he's healthy, he can lock it down for you. I think either one of these guys would be an amazing addition at the back end of the bullpen. Up next, let's talk about Nolan Arenado. Now, I know what you might be thinking, Robbie, we got Rafael Devers at third base. Why would we want Nolan Arenado? But hear me out. Now, Rafael Devers, we all know what he can do with the bat. He's been one of the best bats in Major League Baseball for a while now, no question about it. But when it comes to the defense, it is absolutely atrocious. Going back to 2022, out of all third basemen that have played at least 2,000 innings at third, Rafi Devers ranks dead last in outs above average, fielding run value, and overall defense. They really need to improve the defense at third base. They need to improve the defense in the infield. They had the worst infield defense last year. Another thing with Rafael Devers, too, in the second half over the last couple of years, he's gotten hurt both years. I think Rafi would be much better off at DH. You're paying Rafi Devers for the bat. I see people all the time, saying, oh, Rafi Devers, you're paying him to be your third baseman. I would rather pay him to not be the third baseman. I think he needs to be a DH, just like they did with David Ortiz back in 2004. Remember, up to that point, he was playing a lot of first base. He was not good there at all, and they saw the value in the bat with Ortiz. I think they need to do the same thing with Rafi Devers, open up third base for a better defensive third baseman, and who better than Nolan Arenado? Now, I know the bat hit has digressed over the last few years. This year, hit 272 on base at a 325, slugging at a 394. I mean, those numbers are very far away from what he did in 2022 when he had a 149 WRC plus with 30 homers, had the 34 homers in 2021, only 16 home runs this year. But I think Fenway Park can actually help him out. If you take a look here at the spray chart, if he was at Fenway Park, there's a lot of outs here that would have either gone off the monster or over the monster. I think the Red Sox would be a great fit for Nolan Arenado. He would very much improve this defense. He's been one of the best defenders in all of Major League Baseball for a while now. Sure, the offensive numbers have taken a bit of a step back, but the defensive numbers are still fantastic. He would really shore it up there, and I think the Red Sox can try and get more out of that bat. Up next, I have Luis Robert. Now, I think the number one target offensively for the Red Sox this offseason should be Teoscar Hernandez. Remember, they were negotiating with him last offseason, ended up going to the Dodgers on a one-year deal, and he had a great year with the Dodgers. He's always hit well at Fenway Park. I think he would be a great fit with the Red Sox. He would be the number one target, in my opinion. There's also Tyler O'Neill, who just had a good year with the Red Sox. Sure, he did miss some time this year, but he had 31 home runs, a 511 slugging. Maybe you could bring him back if you're you're unable to bring back Teoscar Hernandez. But maybe you swing and miss on both, and maybe you could look to someone like Luis Robert. Now, he has been hurt a lot in his career. He was hurt a lot this year as well, had a hip injury, limited him to 100 games overall. He did not have a good year. The injury really threw him out of whack. Only hit 224, 278 on base, a 379 slugging, an 84 WRC plus, 14 home runs. But we know what Luis Robert can do when he's healthy. He was fantastic in 2023. Hit 264, a 315 on base, a 542 on the slugging, a 128 WRC plus, 38 home runs. Also has speed, 20 stolen bases, plays good defense out in center field. If you could add those numbers to this lineup, I think that would be absolutely amazing. Now, it is a big if. However, you got to think about this too. He's on a team-friendly deal. He's on a 6-year, $50 million contract. That is very low. That is very affordable there. It runs up at the end of this season, and then you got a couple of club options where the salary does go up quite a bit through 2026 and 2027. So the Red Sox, if they were to bring him in, they have the luxury of just not exercising those club options if it doesn't work out. Now, with Luis Robert, his trade value has taken a bit of a hit here, with the injury history, along with the injuries that he had this year with the hip. So I wonder if the White Sox end up hanging on to Luis Robert, and seeing if he can restore some of his value in the early going of the regular season, and maybe they can move him, maybe sometime in May or June or at the trade deadline. But I wonder with the White Sox too, because he's had so many injuries, maybe they want to just see what they can get for him now without risking him going, back out onto the field, and then he gets hurt again. And if he gets hurt again, his trade value will just completely plummet at that point. So I'm interested to see what the White Sox do this offseason. I think Robert would be a great fit. Again, if he's healthy, right? If we're taking a look at the Red Sox, they also need right-handed bats. I mean, he would be great at Fenway Park with that power and the green monster. Oh, it would be just such a great fit. Now, you got Ceddanne Rafaela out in center field, but there's a lot of room out there in right field. I think Robert would be a great fit in right field. Again, I think Teoscar should be the number one target. Maybe you can look at bringing back Tyler O'Neill. But Luis Robert, I think, would be a pretty good fallback option if you're unable to get those guys in. Speaking of right-handed bats, let's talk about a low-key right-handed bat out there in Jake Berger. Now, the first thing that comes to mind with Berger is power. This year, 29 home runs, had a 460 on the slugging. Going back to last year, out of 118 qualified players, Jake Berger ranks 17th in home runs. His power bat, his right-handed power bat at Fenway Park would be a great fit. Now, with Jake Berger, he's pretty much a DH at this point. His defense is absolutely atrocious. Now, he could play first, but you already got Tristan Casas at first, and I don't think the Red Sox are going to move Tristan Casas this offseason. Who knows? We've seen crazier things, but Jake Berger, where I see him fitting in is at the DH spot. They're trying to add some right-handed bats, just like I mentioned with Luis Robert a second ago. You got Masataka Yoshida. I do think the Red Sox are going to find a way to move his contract this offseason. I think they're going to have to eat some money and or include a prospect in there. But Yoshida, I do not expect him to be back with the Red Sox next season. And I think Jake Berger would be a great addition. He's also under a lot of control. He's not a free agent until after the 2028 season. Now, he is going to cost a little something. He'll definitely cost maybe, a couple of prospects at least. But the Marlins, right, they're trying to go through a bit of a reset right now. They made a lot of moves at the trade deadline. I would imagine Jake Berger is going to be on the trade block this offseason. I think Fenway Park would be a great fit for him. And last but not least, I got Garrett Crochet. Let's get back to the White Sox here. I think Garrett Crochet would be an amazing addition for the Red Sox this offseason. Now, heading into the 2024 season, the rotation was a huge question mark, but Craig Breslow brought in pitching coach Andrew Bailey, and he got a lot out of this pitching staff. He got a breakout year out of Tanner Houck, ERA at a 3.12 over 30 starts. He was very good this year, but yet a couple of guys that didn't quite take that step forward that you were looking for. Brian Bayo, showed flashes of brilliance this year, but he had a few clunkers mixed in there as well. So I'm hoping he can take a big step forward in 2025. Cutter Crawford, showed some good things this year, but he got bit by the home run ball a lot. Now, who knows what happens with Nick Pivetta? They offered him the qualifying offer. I expect him to take a multi-year deal elsewhere, but the way I look at this rotation right now, I see a high floor rotation. I think you need to add another bona fide guy to the top of the rotation. To me, Tanner Houck is either, like a 1A, 1B maybe kind of a guy in a rotation, maybe even a number 2, but I think Crochet would be huge for the Red Sox. He had a breakout year in his first year as a starter, 32 starts, ERA at a 3.58, but look at the FIP, a 2.69, had almost 13 strikeouts per 9 with 12.8, 2 walks per 9, right around a home run per 9. This guy had great stuff this year. My goodness, Garrett Crochet would be a huge addition for the Red Sox rotation. If you had a rotation of Crochet, Houck, Bayo, and Crawford as your number 4, maybe you can pick up another guy on the free agent market, then all of a sudden this rotation is looking very good. Now, when it comes down to a possible trade, I think the Red Sox have a good advantage here because they have multiple packages they could look to. Now, the White Sox are going to be looking to add position players mostly, and the Red Sox have a good amount of high impact position players. Now, could you maybe look to someone like Marcelo Meyer? I think out of the big 4 with Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer, Christian Campbell, and Kyle Teal, I think Marcelo Meyer might be the most expendable because the Red Sox have a lot of middle infield depth in their organization. You got Trevor Story for the next few years, so I think someone like Meyer could be expendable, and he has very good value. The only issue I have here is Marcelo Meyer has a lot of value. He's a top 10 prospect in Major League Baseball. He's a shortstop. You build around shortstops. Shortstop is the highest value position in the game of baseball. So I wonder if Meyer might actually be a bit too much here in this trade for Garrett Crochet. Now, maybe you could turn to someone like Christian Campbell. Now, I have a hunch that the Red Sox do not want to give up Christian Campbell. I think they're going to hold on to him as tight as possible. Had a great year in the minor leagues this year. He exploded this year. He was the minor league player of the year according to Keith Law. This guy just put up tremendous numbers. A right-handed bat, kind of reminds me of Mookie Betts. He kind of makes me think of like a bigger Mookie Betts, if that makes any sense. A very explosive swing and has versatility in there as well. He can play in the infield and the outfield, has a decent amount of speed. I think Christian Campbell is a guy the Red Sox would love to hang on to, but if, at the end of the day, sometimes it's about, if you want to get something good, you got to give up something good. So maybe you would have to do a package around him. Maybe Christian Campbell, you could do like Mikey Romero, Alan Castro, Blaze Jordan. Maybe you could do a 4-for-1, maybe a 3-for-1 here. However, if they were able to avoid trading Christian Campbell and somehow included Wilyer Abreu in a deal for Garrett Crochet, I think that would be amazing. Now, Wilyer Abreu had a very good rookie season. The problem with Wilyer Abreu is there is some platoon risk as of right now. Hit right-handed pitching very well, but did not hit lefties very well, so he's going to have to work on that. However, he does have a good amount of value. He's a good offensive player and has good defense out there, along with 5 years of club control. If the White Sox feel like they're a couple of years away, he's still going to have a few more years of control, so I could maybe see him being the centerpiece. However, you're going to have to beef up the package along with him with some good prospects. I got Franklin Arias, shortstop prospect for the Red Sox, number 6 in their system, had a great year in the minor leagues. He could definitely be a high-value player for the White Sox. Someone like Mikey Romero as well, so the fact that the White Sox would be getting 2 middle infielders in this package. Romero had a good season in the minors. And then Blaze Jordan, a guy that has shown some good power. So maybe you could do a package around this. I think this would be the best-case scenario for the Red Sox. I feel like if the White Sox, I don't know if they're going to want a deal like this. I feel like Christian Campbell might be the guy that realistically you can look for it. Now, Campbell doesn't have as much value as someone like Meyer because Campbell doesn't have as much of a track record, and he's not a pure shortstop. So we're just going to have to wait and see. But I think the Red Sox have a few different avenues here to get a deal done. I think Garrett Crochet is a must for this offseason. I think they need to go get this guy. Yeah, they could go out there, go get someone like Max Fried, but if they didn't want to spend the money for someone like Fried, with Garrett Crochet, you're not going to have to pay this guy really all that much over the next couple of years. But then you could look at a possible extension. He's only 25 years old as of right now, so maybe you can get him signed up for an extension, into his age 29, 30, maybe 31-year-old season, and that's when he can hit the free agent market. Maybe you can give him like a 4 or 5 year extension for around, $100 million or so to be the ace of your staff. I think Garrett Crochet would be a huge pickup. But everyone, those are my thoughts. Tell me your thoughts down below in the comments. Who would you like to see the Red Sox trade for this offseason? Let me know down below. But everyone, that's all I got for this video. If you can on the way out, hit that like button for me, subscribe if you're new, and I'll talk to you next time.